they don't have to shut the place down like they did before. Some new.
Good evening, everyone. The time is now 7 p.m. I'll call the October 27th, 2020 regular meeting of the Mill Creek Township Board of Supervisors to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board of Supervisors meetings are now being televised live online via GoLive via youtube.com, www.millcreektownship/meetings, and recorded by WQLN for viewing on Spectrum Channel 1024 and youtube.com with closed captioning. Members of the public may attend in person in the General Assembly Room. However, total occupancy is limited to 25 persons and masks are required. Persons who wish to offer testimony at any hearing or to offer comments during the public comment portion of the meeting, but who do not wish to attend in person, must contact the Township Secretary, Cheryl Williams, at 814-833-1111 or email at swilliams@millcreektownship.com no later than 24 hours before the scheduled meeting to make arrangements to participate via telephone. And next on our agenda, we'll take any public comment on agenda items other than development or rezoning applications. Okay, hearing no public comment, move on to approval of the minutes from our October 13th, 2020 regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Owlett?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Bills, we have some bills to pay.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Owlett?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, next up, we have some bids and quotations. First up on our agenda is the salt barn roof replacement. Mr. Snyder, you have an update on that status?
I do, Mr. Chairman. We were able to find some archival papers that showed that we have a 15-year warranty on our roof on the salt building. We are currently in talks with the company to see just, it's a limited warranty, but to see just how far we're going. So what they're going to come up with as far as cost for replacement or repair. So I think we would probably need to table this again until we can get those negotiations done.
Okay. All right, any questions or comments for Gary on this? Okay, is there a motion to table this salt barn roof replacement until, do we have any time to,
We're trying to get pictures, up-close pictures of this
Okay.
so that we can send them. So that's a little bit of a difficulty we're having right at the moment.
Question for Mr. Shaw. Can we just make a motion to reject this quote and then whenever Gary gets a new quote, bring it up again, or does that trigger some kind of a...
I think the better course may be just to simply move to remove it from the agenda till it's they're ready to make a recommendation based on this new information. That way you don't have to keep redoing it at every.
yeah, just in
every
case it
agenda.
does go past the next meeting.
There's nothing that would prohibit you from putting it on the next agenda. That way it kind of closes that loop.
All right. Well, I know we had talked about perhaps pursuing other alternatives for what kind of structure to construct there as well. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to remove the salt barn roof replacement from the agenda and move it from consideration this evening. And I guess we can put it back on some other point.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Owlett?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes as well. And next we have shoreline change order number 2. Shoreline pump station project. Mr. Walding.
Thank you. Good evening. This is the second change order to the contract with Shivers Construction Company for rehabilitation of the Shoreline Sanitary Sewer Lift Station. The contract was awarded to Shivers in June for an amount of $155,000. The first change order was actually a decrease in contract price to $6,500, bringing the new total to $148,500. This current change order number 2, is to add additional asphalt and fencing around the station and the addition of steps in the valve pit. The price for this change order is $10,297, which would bring the new total contract amount to $158,797. This project was a budgeted expense in the sewer revenue fund budget and had a total budgeted amount of $252,500, which included construction, engineering, equipment, and contingencies. The associated change orders increased the total project cost to $256,297, which is $3,797 more than budgeted. The difference will be made up from the unanticipated expenses line item in the sewer revenue fund, which currently has a balance of $75,000. Unanticipated expenses is an account that exists to cover these types of project shortfalls, as well as things like emergency repairs that come up through the year. It's the recommendation of the Sanitary Sewer Project Manager, David Wright, that the board approve change order number 2 with Shivers Construction Company in the amount of $10,297, with the project shortfall of $3,797 being covered by the unanticipated expenses account.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments from the board on this change order request? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 2 for the Shoreline Pump Station.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Owlett. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Owlett,
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan,
I vote yes.
and I vote yes. Okay, next up on our bids and quotes, some electric chain lifts. Mr. Snyder?
Thank you. The sewer department is seeking permission to purchase 2 electric chain falls for the use in the sewer lift stations. Quotes were sought and received from Amazon for $14,073.26. Perry Mill Supply, $7,265.38. And Ace Industries for $6,519.29. Monies were budgeted in the sewer capital budget line item number 810. Machinery and equipment for this item, $8,500 was budgeted, the cost being $6,519.29, leaves $1,980.71 in reserves. It would be my recommendation to purchase the 2 electric chain hoists from Ace Industries at the cost of $6,519.29.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Owlett,
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan,
I vote yes.
and I vote yes as well. Okay, we have a manhole raising system from Mr. Manhole. Mr. Snyder?
Yes, sewer is also seeking permission to purchase a manhole raising system called Mr. Manhole. There is only one manufacturer of this piece of equipment, and that is Crytex LLC. The cost of this equipment is $31,189. There were monies budgeted in the equipment, for equipment in the sewer capital budget, line item number 810. $30,000 was budgeted. This item came in at over budget by $1,189. The difference would be made up from the reserves from the savings on the chain hoist, which was $1,980.71, leaving a balance of $791.71 in reserves. It would be my recommendation to purchase this system from Crytex LLC for the cost of $31,189.
Thank you, Gary.
Mr. Chairman, my only question is, I understand this might be only one manufacturer, but are there different sales reps or entities that maybe we should have quoted for. I don't know if that's a question for Mr. Shaw, is if we need to actually go for quotes for this piece of equipment.
At least my reading, based on what's submitted here, it appears that the manufacturer is the salesperson. That they're not, does not appear unless Gary does otherwise, that they're, they have vendors that they sell this to who then resell it,
Okay,
is my assumption based on the package I saw.
That's correct. You buy direct from the manufacturer.
okay.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the purchase of the manhole raising system for the cost of $31,189?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do I hear a second to that?
I'll second.
Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
How about yes?
And I vote yes. Okay, next up, we have a small subdivision plan, County of Erie. Small subdivision plan to show the creation of a .035 acre lot from tax parcel 3329-59-3. That is to become an integral part of tax parcel 3329-59-4, resulting in a .715 acre parcel of land and a residual parcel of .161 acres, located at the northwest corner of Peninsula Drive and Hawes Avenue in tract 007, index 233 and 244. Mr. Walding.
Thank you. Yes, at the regular meeting of Tuesday, October 6, 2020, the Mill Creek Township Planning Commission recommended approval of this subdivision with the following requirement that the 0.035 acre lot from tax parcel 332959-3 is to become an integral part of Erie County tax parcel 332959-4. It was also noted by the Planning Commission that in order to approve this subdivision, the township would need, the Board of Supervisors would need to approve a modification to the Mill Creek Township Code, Section 125-89F.
Okay. Is there anyone here to speak on this small subdivision plan? Sir?
Yes, I'm Mike Sanford, 4721 Atlantic Avenue. I'm the surveyor that prepared the plan for the county. And Mr. and Mrs. Panvar want to acquire a 5-foot strip of property, and so we prepared the minor subdivision that's before you tonight.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board on this?
Was this property that was in the county repository?
I do not know. It's my understanding that the county did take it back for non-payment of tax at some venture, and but I'm not an expert on a repository, if it ever was in that or isn't in the current. I just don't know.
Mr. Walder, you know.
Yeah, to Mr. Sanford's point, I don't know if it ever was in the repository. It is held in ownership by the County of Erie at this time, and it has been for a long time. I don't know when that exactly began.
Is this the parcel that it's directly next to the cemetery property?
Yes, it's a 5-foot strip that abuts the cemetery from east to west, and therefore it also abuts Mr. and Mrs. Panvar's property as well. But yes, it's a 5-foot strip. According to the subdivision plan done many, many years ago, it was intended to have a hedge or something, but it just never came to be that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Any other questions or comments for Mr. Sanford? If not, is there I sense Mr. Morgan may have a question? Okay.
It's just interesting to me.
It's a very interesting piece.
Yes. So I guess I'm just curious, Mr. Stanford, is the county, are they, do you know if there's actual a purchase price, or if it's just a matter of paying back taxes and the property is being provided to your client, or?
No, Mr. Panvar approached the county, asked them to buy it, and they settled on a sale price. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
And then it was his requirement to hire a surveyor and pay for those costs as well. So he is paying for the property to the county, and they're also paying to go through this process as well.
Okay. Okay. I just think that, not to advocate for Mike, but it's excellent surveyor, but it seemed like you could probably get the whole strip of land and not subdivide it. Okay, well, and then we don't have a landlocked parcel. And we don't have a strip of property that's sitting unowned to someone.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, may I clarify for a moment as
Yes,
well?
sir.
The modification that would be required for this is from the code section 125-89F. That states that no remnants of land which are not buildable in accordance with Chapter 145 zoning shall be permitted. This portion, this piece of land is already just a 5-foot strip by over 1,000 feet. So, you know, arguably the piece that's left is not buildable according to the zoning ordinance, but the original piece isn't either. So this would clean up a portion of it, but it would, as part of, if you chose to approve it, would require that the modification be granted from this section.
Okay.
Well, it's not buildable, and also, is landlocked part of that as well, or is that another section we have to actually grant?
Yeah, that's covered under 125-55, that a parcel has to have frontage unless it's a clearly designated private street with a lot of strings attached, so. Yeah, it's possible that that would be required as well. The residue, the parcel that's being created obviously has frontage on both Haas and Peninsula Drive now. But so that wasn't as clear, but definitely the 125-89F.
So the residue is 0.161 acres.
I believe that's correct.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
What is that in, you know,
What's the linear feet of it, that you're saying?
you know, what would be like the
Dimensions?
dimensions of that, of the 0.161?
It's 5 feet wide by, do you know the length?
No, I'm gonna do it right now.
It seems like the county would just give that to the diocese, and it's tax exempt, and then it's cleaned up, it doesn't exist anymore.
You talking about the residue?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would seem to make sense to me.
The diocese would be tax exempt, it's tax exempt.
It comes up to 1,400 feet long, the residue. 5 foot by 1,402.
Your client didn't want to own all that?
No, sir.
All right, well, be a nice runway for a model plane. All right, anyway.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the small subdivision plan with the conditions and granting the modification in accordance with ordinance 125-89F, and also, as necessary, whatever portion of it would need to be modified based on creating a landlocked parcel, which I am not aware of what that section is at the moment. You stated it earlier.
That was 125-55.
Yep, that one too.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Olet,
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan,
I vote yes.
I'll vote yes.
Mike, thank you for indulging my questions.
You're welcome.
We have a Second small subdivision plan from the Real Family Limited Partnership. This is a small subdivision plan to show the creation of a 9,528 square foot lot, C1, and the creation of a .167 acre lot, which is to become an integral part of tax parcel 3315-49-30.03 from tax parcel 3315-49-30, resulting in a residual lot of 4.577 acres, located on the west line of Wingate Road, south of West 6th Street and tract 0026, index 275-030. Matt?
Thank you. At their regular meeting of Tuesday, October 6, 2020, the Mill Creek Township Planning Commission recommended approval of this subdivision with the requirement that the .167 acre parcel become an integral part of Erie County Tax Parcel 3315-49-30.03.
Okay. Oh, Mr. Sanford's back.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
The Real Family would like to subdivide this and create a lot. It's a rental home that they own, and they would like to subdivide it off of essentially the Colony Plaza tax lot. And they just would like to create a parcel around this rental home. In so doing, Christine Real would like a little side lot addition to her own personal house. She lives just north of that. So this is a combination subdivision to do a little side lot addition to one lot and create a new lot around this existing home. And then the Colony Plaza just would remain the way that it is.
Okay, any questions or comments on this small subdivision plan?
Guess my only question, Mike, is would this client of yours be interested in a pretty sweet 1,400-foot long strip of property?
I can run that by him, but let's assume no.
Throwing it out, trying to help the county out, throwing it a bone.
Okay.
Mr. Waldinger, were there any comments or concerns at the Planning Commission?
No, there was no one. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. I do believe that there was a neighbor that attended. I'm sorry.
One resident from across the street.
Just in question of what was going on, but had no objection once he discovered. My apologies.
Okay.
Okay, is there a motion to approve this small subdivision plan as stated?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
I vote yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
With
sir.
respect to the County of Erie matter, I
Yes.
think the correct citation might be to 125-89, which provides that except where expressly authorized by the Board of Supervisors, in accordance with the requirements of 125-55, each lot shall abut on a public street with access adequate for the use of public safety vehicles. I think that might be the one that you want to refer to. We can
Okay.
just,
As opposed to the 125-89F?
no, as opposed to 125 I think it was 55 that was referenced.
Well, duh. Geez, Matt.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I just wanted, that's just to clear the record, that's all. You don't need to redo anything, so.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Everybody knew that. Except Matt. Jeez.
Next up, number 8, non-substantial land development amendment for Chick-fil-A, 2519 West 12th Street, Chick-fil-A developer. Mr. Waldinger.
Yes, thank you. This is would be the second non-substantial land development that's been requested by the Chick-fil-A that's now under construction on West 12th Street in Yorktown Center. Originally, they had requested and been approved for an amendment to widen their drive-through entrance in order to create a second drive-through lane. After that was approved by the board, there was a delay in the developer recording a new map to reflect this amendment. In the meantime, they contacted us about making an additional change to the map, which was to extend their drive-through, or I'm sorry, not their drive-through, but their garbage corral, their dumpster corral, by an additional 4 feet. As the First Amendment had not yet been signed and recorded, we told them the best course of action was to combine them all together in order to do the recording once. So although the original widening of the drive-through entrance has already been approved, we're putting before you again just a reapproval of that drive-through entrance widening, as well as now an extension of the trash enclosure by 4 by 6, or I'm sorry, by 36 square feet, 4 by 9. So that's what's before you today. We would recommend that you approve these non-substantial amendments. They don't really change the plan in any substantive way, but have to be approved so that they can be recorded.
Okay, and this has been reviewed and by our township engineer.
Yes, it has been reviewed by the engineer, and there is a certification here that it meets all the requirements of the ordinance.
Okay. All right, any additional questions on this? Is there a motion to approve this non-substantial land development plan amendment?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. Okay, next up, number 9, exclusion from land development plan request. Final finish, 4934 Westridge Road, Richard Worth, developer. Matt?
Yes, thank you. And actually, this is just a notification to the board. Because it's under 5,000 square feet, as shown here, it meets the requirements of our ordinance for an exclusion. The developer is Final Finish at 4934 Westridge Road. They'd like to build a 122.5 square foot roof extension over their entrance. It has been reviewed by the township engineer and Assistant Zoning and Development Officer Julie Maggio. It meets all of our requirements for an exclusion. There is an engineer certification as required from Ann Sokol, the township engineer. So this is just a notification that the request should be granted, or has been granted by my department because it meets the requirements of the ordinance.
Okay. So we don't need to take
No,
any action?
there's no vote
on this? Okay, sir. Okay, number 10, proposed ordinance 2020-6, an ordinance to amend the rules and regulations for the Mill Creek Township Fire and Emergency Medical Services. Mr. Shaw?
Yes, thank you. This ordinance 2020-6 relates to the rules and regulations for Mill Creek Township Fire and Emergency Medical Services. If you recall, back in April of 2018, the Board of Supervisors passed the first section, Article 1 of those rules and regulations, and this is a amendment that would add Article 2, and Article 2 deals with regulating equipment, property, and structure purchases. If the way it's set up is if a department wants to spend more than $25,000 on any single piece of equipment, property, or structure, it needs to have the approval of the Fire Commission. It sets standards for the Fire Commission to make that review and determination, as well as has penalty provisions under which it authorizes the supervisors to impose penalties on fire departments that fail to follow this regulation at a cost of withholding their LST funds up to 2 times the cost of the item that they purchased. This was recommended by the Fire Commission, and it's now before the supervisors.
Okay. Any questions or comments on this proposed ordinance?
My only comment, and I apologize for not catching this before the meeting, is that throughout this document, we've referred to this commission as the Mill Creek Township Fire Commission, the Mill Creek Township Fire and Emergency Services Commission, the Mill Creek Township Fire and Emergency Medical Services Commission, and the heading doesn't include the word commission, so I just think we need to clean up the language so there's consistency.
We'll clean this up before we finalize. for
Just a-
purposes of-
Okay.
Just so there's consistency on what it's referred to
Yeah,
as.
right.
And I can't recall the original ordinance if it was called the Emergency Services, Fire and Emergency Services, or if it was called the Fire and Emergency Medical Services Commission. I can't recall.
But the formal, I know we all call it the fire commission, but
For short, yes. Okay. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2020-6?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. Proposed ordinance 2020-7, an ordinance of the Township of Mill Creek, Erie County, Pennsylvania, establishing a statutory maximum speed limit of 25 miles per hour for motor vehicles traveling on certain roadways
Man, it's about time we did that. We haven't had speed limits for today?
within Mill Creek Township.
Wow. Innovation. We're finally establishing speed limits in Mill Creek Township.
Who knew? Mr. Shaw.
Yes, ordinance 2020-7 relates to both two roads within the municipality, McKee Road and Kohler Road. These are both roads located in residential districts. In the past, the Board of Supervisors had amended the standard speed for these roads, which was 25 under state law, to be 35. Over time, however, the roads actually ended up being posted at 25. And after review of the roads and the speed limits, the recommendation is to return them back to 25 because 25 miles an hour is the state standard for those roads. No special engineering study is needed to make this switch back to 25, and it would also then make it consistent with how it's currently posted. So that's the recommendation.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments on this proposed ordinance?
Well, that makes a lot more sense.
Speed limit? He did clarify it very well. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2020-7?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second.
Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. Okay, next up is Resolution 2020-R-61, a resolution pursuant to Resolution 2015-R-20 and the Municipal Records Manual to approve proposed disposition of certain township records. Before us today is the dash cam videos from Mill Creek Police Department spanning between the dates of October 28th, 2020 and November 10th, 2020, due to reaching the end of their retention period. This is a action we take pretty much at every meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve Resolution 2020-R-61?
So moved.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Number 13 on our agenda this evening is the amendment to stormwater fee study grant agreement. Mr. Walding.
Yes, thank you. I was contacted by the County of Erie regarding the stormwater fee study grant agreement that we have with them. They submitted the amendment that you see before you there. Both Mill Creek Township and the City of Erie are recipients of this grant. We're co-recipients. And in order to better accommodate the schedule for all of the parties, the county, the city, and us, the termination date of the agreement is being extended from December 31st, 2020 to June 30th of 2021. And while we anticipate having the township's portion of this grant complete by the end of this year, having an increased frame of time in order to use the grant funds gives us flexibility just in case something unforeseen comes up. There's no real reason not to agree to the extension. So for those reasons, I recommend approval of the amendment with the county.
Okay. Any questions or comments on this proposed extension? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the amendment to the stormwater study?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Owlett?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Number 14, financial security release request from Widget Financial. Widget Financial is the developer. Mr. Walding.
Yes, thank you. This is for the new Widget Financial building that was built at Westridge Road in Millfair. The developer has requested the release of their financial security for the project. Greenman Peterson Incorporated, who's our contracted third-party inspection agency, has issued a reasonable conformity letter for the stormwater system. All required public improvements have been completed. There is a form signed by the township engineer stating that all requirements have been completed. So at this time, I would recommend release of the security, which was a check that's being held in escrow. It's Widget Financial check number 2001468 in the amount of $202,691.50. I recommend that that be released as the project has been completed.
Okay, thank you, sir. Is there a motion to approve this security release in the amount of $202,691.50 to Widget Financial?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Number 15 on our agenda is a recommendation from Diane Lyons from our administration office recommending board approval for an MOU with the Mill Creek Police Association. I don't really have any other details on this. Do you, sir?
This is related to the resolution of a grievance.
Okay. Resolution of a grievance, okay. So we just need is there a motion to approve this MOU with the MPA?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
I'll vote yes. Okay, we have some items under communications. Treasurer communications. Anything, Mark? Okay. We have a request from Diane Lyons from administration. Request for a new hire in the streets department. Mr. Olet, you want to take that one?
Sure. A request from Diane Lyons for approval to hire Eric Toth as a streets maintenance laborer beginning on November 2nd at a rate of $20.02 per hour. Eric comes to us with experience from the city of Erie and Christ Transportation. He has a Class B CDL.
Is this to fill a
It's to
vacancy
fill-
due to a retirement?
Right, it is to fill at least the final vacancy for now, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So they'll be at full strength again.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to, did you make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay, sir. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, trick or treat hours, as we announced at our last meeting, just reminder, they are Saturday, October 31st, 6 to 8 p.m. in the township.
Yeah, but that's
Yes.
Halloween.
It is. It is Halloween. It's also the Penn State-Ohio State game,
Oh, what time is that?
7:30.
Should we cut trick-or-treating short then, make it 5 to 7?
That's a tough call. Nah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. All you need to do is watch the last 5 minutes of any game.
Well, and I guess just so residents know, you're not required to hand out candy. You ought to, but if you turn the light off at 7:30, you know. Just, you might get some eggs in your house, but you get to watch the game.
Yeah, right. And this is not on communications, but I just want to also remind people that it's also that same evening, if you choose to, you can set your clocks back 1 hour. And you know, you can get in line with, I guess, most of the country.
Not the world, but the country.
No, not the. So, yeah. So after the game, set your clocks back enjoy some candy. Okay, executive sessions, October 15th and 22nd here at the Township Building. Mr. Shaw, anything further?
Nothing further on my end.
Okay. Any citizens to be heard out there? No? Okay. Make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay.
I will second.
Okay, we are adjourned at 7:40 PM. Thank you.
So you could have fit the financial presentation in. Now you get two of them back to back.